on taxes. You know, it's very difficult, even with the Housing Development Corporation subsidizing the homes pretty substantially with paying for sewer and paying for the land cost, the purchase of the lot, and you know, some of the engineering costs and marketing costs for that subdivision. It's still, like you said, there's still an expenditure that is.
Well, it's going to be a tremendous improvement to that part of town compared to what it's been like for 50 years.
Ever since we remember.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta take into, you know, 8 families, maybe 2 kids per family. What does that do for the school district and retail, whatever? So.
Greg Darling has talked to me on several occasions about the importance in this price range. I mean, honestly, you look at the families that are moving into the Ridge, and that price point is not going to help somebody who's, you know, possibly dual income, you know, 2.3 kids or whatever. You know, it's not.
The only thing I was wondering was on something like that, like if we have another trailer park, how can a trailer park not be also R3? I mean, to convert a trailer park, I mean, that was one thing that I asked about this was, you know, could we go with R3 where we're at now and, you know, it's not zoned for that. It's like you're converting a trailer park into residential. You would think that that would be a good alternative. I would take that as an alternative. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, is that a possibility, or is it like?
To say all mobile homes shall be considered, so all M1 be considered R3 also?
Yeah.
I think it's a lesser zoning, so it might work.
Yeah.
Mobile homes pretty dense use, so I think that'd be a question for Eric. I can't answer that. I don't know if you have any experience in that, but I think it's a lesser use, so it would be just like using single family and a multifamily. You can build a single family in a multifamily area, but you can't build multifamily in a single family area. But I would have to consult with Eric. I'm not 100% sure on that.
But these homes, this won't be, what is that called? The low income? We're still too high for that.
Yeah, the Knowles property, the property that was burnt down by the fire department, and that will be developed as LMI. We looked at doing LMI in this area, and that was the original intent, but with the opportunity to have a developer come in and finance 4 homes on their own dime, that kind of was a bit of a game changer, because with the opportunities that existed previous to the conversation with this developer, it was going to be a very slow build-up, I think. We had offered the lots for $1 for at least 3 months, and several conversations with several builders, and never really got anywhere. And so with that in mind, started to actively pursue other opportunities, and talked with INS about the opportunity of, you know, somebody up in that neighborhood.
Okay.
We just got rid of low-income housing on the trailers. We're trying to move up a little bit on that one. Any other discussion?
So what do we need? What do you just move forward?
It's basically, it's a done deal.
Right.
They've already approved the funding, they've already got everything in order, so I think it's just more of a,
Well,
let you know kind of what's going on.
well, I mean, if the council doesn't support the future infrastructure going in,
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion that we support this project, or do we?
It might be. I don't think you need to, but it might be a good thing just to have it in the record that the council's voted to support it. This is similar to the same way that the development agreements with Precision, you know, when it's not really binding, but just to state the support of it, because the Housing Development Corporation will be expending close to $720,000 to, actually more than that, to build the home. So if there's not gonna be a street there,
Right.
that would be very, that would essentially the housing group would cease to exist at that point. So with them moving forward with the homes, if the council's not supportive of it, it kind of has to be stated at this point. Otherwise, it'll be too damaging to a development organization. in the
Joe,
county.
you make that motion, you're getting off the council anyway.
I'll still be here. I'll still be here in 2 weeks. Can we just put that on the agenda for 2 weeks?
vote yet, John.
Oh, I know.
Can we do that, or do you need it right now?
Let's do it now.
Do it now? All right. Move to support the Humboldt Economic Development, or is it Housing Development?
Humboldt County Housing Development Corporation.
Yes, and what? Providing infrastructure development for this project
Or is it for the city?
with,
I thought you said the city was a
Yeah.
water. Is that what you want them to
The
do?
water in street would be installed, so.
By the city, not the housing.
by the city, not the housing, but I thought they were covering some of the costs.
We're covering the sanitary.
We're covering the sanitary. All right, you got it, Gloria.
The Housing
You
Development
want to read it
Corporation.
back to what I just said?
So here's what I have. This is what I was- To support the development of water and street infrastructure by the city for the 7th Avenue South Addition.
Okay.
The the Housing Development Corp. is paying back for the sewer,
All right,
but the city would be paying for the street and water.
okay.
That's how I was.
Yes,
Okay.
that is.
That's my motion, it sounds good.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Joe. Under resolutions, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2013-110. A resolution to authorize the write-off of water, sewer, garbage, landfill, and canopy lighting charges on final utility bills. Actually, didn't think I'd see any of these anymore. I thought we had it kind of, had all this worked out a couple years ago.
Oh, they keep coming back. You wanna?
Well, these are accounts where the residences have changed ownership, and there is no one to go back and collect on. Some of them are for foreclosures. One is deceased, one the city took over. So, for various reasons, we can't collect from the previous owners of the property. That's our one problem that we have with final bills where the property changes hands. We can't go, our assessments don't go with the property, they go with the owner.
This
So
one,
if the
a year's
owner-
worth, 2 years worth, how many?
Actually, that's about a year's worth.
About a year's
Mhm.
Move to approve.
Second. Roll call vote.
Goodell?
Aye.
Slater?
Aye.
Rusher?
Aye.
Pater?
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2013-111. A resolution approving contract change order number 2 with Des Moines Steel Fence Incorporated of Des Moines, Iowa, for the 2013 airport fencing improvement project for a net addition of $1,180.
The change order was to install a field fence for another point of access needed for maintenance and utility work at the airport. It was, I don't remember exactly where that was in the plan, but it was a section of field fence, so away from the residential area. Like I said, there's several lines, utility lines that run through the airport property and several easements. So when they needed to add this to ensure access at that point. It's an expensive field fence.
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call vote.
Slater?
Aye.
Rusher?
Aye.
Pater?
Aye.
Goodell?
Aye.
Good thing we approved that, because now we're approving the final.
I got a question about that. We're not paying the whole 54, that's the 80.
Yeah. This is, I can't remember this, if it's state, I think it's 85, if it's federal, I think it's 90. So, I can't remember if this is state or federal, but,
This is a 15, I think, anyway.
yeah, so that would be 85 if it's state.
Move to approve.
Second.
Haven't read it yet. Give me just a second. We have a first and a second on a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2013-112. A resolution approving pay estimate number 1 final from Des Moines Steel Fence Company Incorporated of Johnston, Iowa, in the amount of $54,310.74 for the 2013 Humboldt Municipal Airport Fencing Improvement Project, and accepting the project as complete, and authorizing the mayor to sign the engineer's statement of completion, and authorizing the release of the retainage in the amount of $2,858.46, 30 days from the date of this acceptance. Roll call vote.
Rusher.
Aye.
Hayter.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2013-113. A resolution approving the annual financial report for the fiscal year 2012-2013 for the city of Humboldt, Iowa.
This is our annual report that tells how we did with our budget last fiscal year, which ended on June 30th of this year. Our total revenues for the year were, and I'm going to round because it's just easier, about $14.4 million. Out of that, $2.4 million came from property taxes. About $2.7 million came from, mostly from water bills, utility bills, things like that. And about $7 million came from financing capital projects. Our total expenditures for the year, $15,256,000. Out of that, about $6.5 million were capital projects. Again, most of the expenditures is for the water plant this year. We have several other large capital projects, but the water plant, of course, is the king. As far as the budgeted amounts, like I said, we had $14.3 million in revenues. We budgeted about 14.4, so we were just a little off on that. Expenditures total were 15.3 million, and we budgeted 17.7. Again, a lot of that is the water plant financing and the timing of that, because we're reimbursed as we spend the money, so we didn't get it all at once. The net revenues to expenditures is minus $882,000, so we spent $882,000 more than we took in. But again, that's all timing also with loan funds and things like that. So we are actually right on budget or a little bit ahead of budget for the year. Any questions on any of that stuff? There's a lot of pages of numbers in your packets.
Move to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Hayter.
Aye.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Next, we need a motion to approve the following proposed resolution number 2013-114. A resolution approving pay estimate number 16 from Industrial Process Technology Incorporated, Fargo, North Dakota, in the amount of $190,492.96 for the 2012 Humboldt Water Treatment Plant Improvement Project.
The water plant is being delayed by materials not arriving on time and delays in some critical path equipment. The plant is still set to be completed by the end of January at this point. Operations continue to be smooth at the plant. There's the biggest problem, which it's been the whole time, is getting the controls installed, getting the controls to talk to each other. We thought we had everything on site. We found out that something was shipped to the wrong water plant, and then we received somebody else's shipment, so we had to correct that. But with all that in mind, if you see the schedule for the water plant, I mean, you're like maybe 5 days on each side of each process piece falling into the next piece. So as soon as you take something out, you have to figure out some other way to still process the water. So it's a very complex, puzzle piece as far as making sure everything continues to work and that we don't end up in a boil order or something, breaking that we don't have duplication on. So with that in mind, if we end up at the end of January, that's probably a good scenario as opposed to rushing it and something bad happening at the plant. But I think IPT is still doing a good job. I don't think this was avoidable in any manner. They can't control what their suppliers ship by mistake. So.
Move to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Goodell.
Aye.
Slater.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Hayter.
Aye.
That's our last of our already scheduled items. Aaron?
Just wanted to announce Officer Teal's back, so good to have him back on the police force. Also, we've got a retirement that's occurring. Ray Heim is leaving the street department after many, many, many years with the city, so sad to see him go, but has provided a good service to the city for many years. With that in mind, there will be a vacancy on the street department. I believe it'll be just an equipment operator. They'll move somebody up from within to take over the assistant superintendent spot, and then it'll create that vacancy. I'll be out in the newspaper and the radio station, but anybody with any interest should contact me, and I'll get them the information.
Gloria?
November 11th, next Monday is Veterans Day. We'll be closed that day, and garbage pickup will be delayed one day for just the Monday garbage people. Everybody else should be on their regular schedule. Also, November 16th is a Saturday. That's the last burn day of the season. And that's it.
Darryl?
No, I don't.
Joe?
Oh, I can get a plug in for the pancake supper tomorrow for the Lions Club. It's election day, so the pancake supper, the Lions Club.
Not campaigning at all, are you?
No, I'm not. This is for the different campaign. This is for the Veterans Memorial. They're taking all of the proceeds from the pancake supper and adding it to what they've given previously, so that should be great. So get down, I think it's at the fairgrounds, and enjoy some pancakes, and it goes to a good cause. So
You've done a great job spearheading that, Joe. Very, very proud of you for doing that.
thanks. We keep going. We've got, just FYI, we've got a little over $3,000 so far in checks, and now we're kind of shifting and starting to send out letters to businesses. We've hit the service groups up hard, so still a ways to go, but there's a lot of support for it in the community. I think we'll be fine.
Joel?
Nope.
John?
No, I don't.
Was issued a deal here from the State Gaming Commission that I received in the mail here that estimated appropriations and outlays for 2013 are $330 million from the Gaming Commission to stuff. You really wonder how the state's out of money when we're getting $330 million revenue back from the casinos. It is amazing. But we just get part of that, so.
Along those lines, you mind if I
Yeah.
add one
No,
thing?
go ahead.
Some of the money that you just reminded me,
Yeah.
some of the money that comes from the gaming revenues actually goes to the Humboldt County Community Foundation. With that in mind, anybody who's interested in applying for grants, the next round of grants are coming up, and community projects, service group projects, all sorts of different great actions around the community occur through that. I serve on that board, so if you want some information on the grant